Hello and welcome to another episode of Qué Pasa Hialeah. Hi, my name is Dr. Tony Cruz. I'm the campus president here at the Hialeah campus of Miami-Dade College. And today with us is a very special guest, Lily Lopez. She is founder, CEO, and president of the South Florida Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Lily.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Cruz. I'm going to call you Tony. Happy New Year to you, students, faculty, everybody, staff, and wishing you all the best. And thank you for having me on your show today. Thank you so much.
Well, it's an honor to have you with us. You're a very dynamic leader. I've known you now for a while, and I know that you're everywhere in South Florida, promoting the chamber, promoting businesses, making sure that people know all the great things that the chamber provides to its members and to the community, right? So I just want to start off by asking you a few questions, Lily. One is, I usually start off by just getting some background, on the individuals. I know that a lot of people know you in the community, but we have a lot of students, faculty, and staff, and others in the community that will be watching this that don't know you. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, where do you go to school, anything else that you'd like to share?
Yes, yes, yes. Born in Cuba, came when I was 3. Went to Shenandoah Elementary, junior high, Miami-Dade College. I'm a Hall of Fame. I think it's 2007, 2008 for the nonprofit category. So I did Miami-Dade College, then I did St. Thomas University, my bachelor's in political science. I also studied journalism as well, and then just started working in the nonprofit field, actually in SALAD, the Spanish American League Against Discrimination, with the late Dr. Eduardo Soto and Dr. Eduardo Padron, who had been founding chair of SALAD. And that's where I got my background for nonprofits. And I realized then that I like nonprofits. And that's how later on, a few years later, actually not so many years later, I had a group of friends that said we should start a Hispanic chamber. There is a need in the community, obviously. I mean, now we're like 69, 70% Hispanic. And so that's how it started. And we never thought that it was going to become such a huge organization. And but it's thanks to the efforts of so many people and so many people that have enjoyed participating, being a member, seeing the services that we provide and the difference. Because when I say difference, it's that we teach people, we have programs, we have conferences. You have attended them. I mean, you don't miss one, and we love having you there. And but at the same time, they're fun, right? So we always give everybody a mojito. I mean, we're saying it. I mean, students and whatever, mojito. They put more of the guava than the alcohol, but you have something different. You bring something different to the table. A lot of not happy hours, but a lot of I call it like the pre-event happy hour, meaning that for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, members are able to engage and have a drink or just have water, but get to know each other, which is what a Chamber of Commerce is supposed to be doing. We just can't go into an event and just immediately at noon sit there on your table and get to know the 8 people around you. So we have like 45 minutes time for people to mingle, and then that's a big opportunity, and then we go into the programming. So it's a lot of fun, but at the same time it's a lot of information and a lot of good people and providing what we need, the services and the information that members need. So we're happy to bring that as a Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, no, I've been to a lot of those meetings, and I know that those are really fun and informative as well, which is really important.
Right.
What do you think is the I know that the chamber has its own mission and purpose, and I know you just described a lot of activities, right? Things that it does in order to achieve those. What is the mission and the purpose at the core of the chamber, specifically your chamber?
Right. Yeah. The mission is to promote the continued growth and development of the Hispanic business community and to serve as a resource center and forum to advocate for Hispanic and minority owned businesses. And organization, is comprised of dedicated professionals, and we have different committees, and we have lunch and learns. And obviously, with the pandemic, it's taken a toll on a lot of the programming. Like our business committee would meet monthly, we would be at a restaurant. And so things have changed. We've had to do a little bit of Zoom, but at the same time, we are doing live events, and it's been challenging, but it's been nice to see that we were the only chamber that was really doing live events. And you know what? You saw it. We took a lot of precautions. Even at the beginning, we had plexiglass. in front of the stage. The
Mhm.
microphone had the disposable covers with gloves. You would remove the. So we really, you can't say that we were careless, because sometimes people say, oh, they're doing events. No, we're doing events, but we're doing it conscientiously, and we're doing it the right way, the proper way. We don't want anybody to get sick. Nobody got sick, but at the same time, we have to continue providing businesses with what they need. They need the resources, the tools. They need to meet people. They need to network so they could do business with one another. If not, what are you going to do all day in a Zoom? It's not the same to do. You can't network in a Zoom. I'm sorry, not Hispanics.
Right. Yeah,
Hispanics.
well, I think that I was very impressed with, and I've been very impressed throughout the pandemic about the number of people going to the events. I mean, that's been very impressive because I am, I go to other chambers that are here in the area, and nothing compares to what's been going on with South Florida Hispanic Chamber. And so I have to commend you and everybody in the leadership there for continuing to push forward, right? Regardless of the situation we find ourselves in, push forward and promoting the business interests and of the community as well. So really great stuff. You had mentioned briefly a little bit before about the creation of the chamber, right?
Right.
And I think that we have to really think about what Miami was, or South Florida, Dade County was back in 1994. And like you said, today is very different from where it was then, and even years preceding that, right? So
Yes.
why this chamber when already, right? There were the Greater Miami Chamber was there. There were other chambers that existed in the area. Why did you and others create this chamber? What was the impetus
Oh,
behind that?
yes, because back in those days, Hispanics were always put in a Hispanic Affairs Committee, so they would not have leadership roles in these other chambers of commerce. Obviously, that has changed, and we see Hispanics in other organizations. They're chairman of the board or chairwomen of the board, and what have you. And that's what we saw back in the time, that Hispanics were not in the top positions that we deserve to be in,
Sure.
being the majority and being so very qualified. And if you allow me to continue saying, that one of my main objectives is to elevate the profile of Hispanic women and men. And I say it because sometimes we fail to realize that we are 70% of the population, and we in reality don't control everything, but because there are some organizations that the leadership is not really Hispanic, and
Mhm.
there's selection committees to select someone for a top position, and I'm not going to name the organizations. You see those selections committees only have maybe 4 Hispanics out of 15, out of 14, and
Mhm.
then sometimes for a top position they bring someone from another state. And even in the county government, and there's people that are qualified here, and they bring people from other states. So if you have so many qualified people here, Hispanics that are 70%, you have
Right.
African Americans that are 13%, and then you have the white that they call, and we're brown or whatever they want to call it. I don't go by that, I just say Hispanic. Now they want
Mhm.
to say brown, I'm fine with brown, even if my roots are from Galicia, which is northern Spain, but it doesn't matter. They say you're brown, you're brown. But be it as it may, we have many qualified people, and
Mhm.
at this point, I don't see Hispanics really taking it. You have to really fight for what the numbers say, and
Right.
we're the majority, and we're letting a lot of, we really need to be out there saying Hispanic men, they're not in the leadership roles that they should be in terms of boards, corporate boards. The numbers or percentages are very low at the national level, and Hispanic women are nowhere to be seen. And we are not fighting for those rights that we are entitled to. And that hurts me because I see what's happening. Just because of the majority, we're just sitting down and just saying, oh, okay. But no, we got to be more alert and say, hey, there's things at the national level, there's boards, there's this and that, there's things
Mhm.
that we can do. There's things even, for projects and what have you. They're always the same companies keep getting all these projects. Let's just, right? There's a lot of companies that are not Hispanic. They have all these large projects. What
Sure.
happened to Hispanics, right? So
Right.
in reality, we need to see that. But sometimes Hispanics fail when they're up there. They fail to remember their roots, and they become part of the establishment. And they think that they're more white than Hispanics, right?
Mhm.
They belong to the upper echelon. I made it, and they know who they are, and they forget that they came from Cuba, or if they came from Nicaragua, or they came from Colombia, and they made it, and they forget you have to help, and we have to help Hispanic students. And you know that we created a foundation because my mom wanted me to be a teacher. I didn't want to be a teacher. My grandmother, great grandma, everybody were teachers. So I said, okay, I love education. Let's create a foundation so we could help financially disadvantaged students, Hispanic students. We also helped African American students as well.
That's great.
We have to help them, but you have to empower Hispanics
Yes.
because these kids are come now. They come from other countries, from Peru, from Guatemala, from Honduras, and
Mhm.
they're low income, and they need to see that there's a world out there, there's opportunities, and if we don't empower them and we forget about them, then what's going to happen? Then how are we going to fill the positions? So
Right.
anyway, I talk a lot. So
No, yeah, all is very true, and and I've lived in other places in the country where Hispanics are not the majority, and
and
it's a very tough thing anyway. But
and
here, obviously, for a while now, Hispanics have been the majority, and you're right, we can't take that for granted, and we have to be putting people in places, positions
in
of
position.
power, positions of influence that can make differences in everyone's lives. And so definitely what you're doing with the chamber and what you're doing with that foundation, I think coupled, those two things together are making a big difference. And we're going to continue pushing forward on that. And I know you will. I know you're a big advocate and you'll continue to do that. So, you're a big influence, right? I think in this community, and that's a very positive thing. Who have been some influences and some of the biggest influences in your life, personal life, your professional life, that have gotten you to where you are today?
Well, start with Osvaldo Soto, the late Osvaldo Soto, who gave me the opportunity and taught me everything. And I remember he would throw me there and say, "Okay, let's do a press conference. There is discrimination, da 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 da." He was an advocate of that, and I said, "Oh, I would always say Dr. Soto, but." He says, "You know how to write and you know how to speak. So go and let's start. Let's do this. You're going to go to the radio." So in reality, he gave me that confidence because usually when you're very young, you say, "What?" Even though you speak, but you're scared of doing
Sure.
radio, being on a stage. It's not that easy. And I
Yeah.
would do all of that and press conferences and talk to the media. So he empowered me. And then we also had Dr. Padron, whom I love and adore, and
Mhm.
that he would always help me. And every time he had something important in Miami Dade College, some dignitary, some elected official, he would include me. And that's something that I really appreciate. He would include me in those round tables with very important people.
That's
So that for me meant the world, and I'm very appreciative of that. And then in the chamber, of course, then I have people that mentored and were founders. You had the Eloy Ceperos, and then through the years we have the Felipe Basultos and Roland Sanchez Medina, who's my chairman, who's been in the board for years, Armando Trabanco. I mean, I don't want to leave anyone out. Michelle Febres, leave anyone, because then you know how
Yeah.
it is. There's so many people that are instrumental. Jose Perez de Corcho, they have, they've been instrumental also in what they've brought to the table, and because I can't do everything by myself.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, I'm fast and I do a lot of things. They
You
won't
do a
be
lot, but yeah, you can't all do it yourself. And I think that's a great point that
right.
everybody needs to realize is that even
Yeah.
as leaders, we have people, there's so many people that have an impact, on what we do and our success. And
And
so
look, even now,
it's
before we started, Anil Kahir, my executive assistant's been with me 15 years.
wow.
I needed her help, right? Here, oh, the lighting, the team setting it up. Everybody has a role, and everybody, that's what I say, everybody's instrumental. If you are somewhere, it's because you have had tools and people and help to that have taken you to where you are today. I mean, you
Sure.
could have talent, you could have the drive, you could be whatever, but there's always people that are instrumental in giving you the confidence, in providing the tools, and in giving you, like, even when we started now with the pandemic, that there was a 5-month period that we had to do a lot of Zoom. And then I remember that Felipe, one of my best friends, said, "No, Lily, we got to do." Felipe Asuto said, "We got to do all these programming and Zoom." And then Roland Sanchez Medina came on board, and he brought other people to, big important people, personalities, to the Zoom conferences to provide information. So them two were instrumental. Like Roland and Felipe were instrumental in those months, because for me this was like another world. I mean, the Zoom thing. And then it
Yeah.
got to the point, and then we said, "You know what? Last October, let's start going live. Let's just have like 80 people." We started spreading tables out, but Hispanics need to have that warm touch, because we started seeing the decline in participation in Zoom.
Sure.
And
Sure.
something that happens is when you have sponsors and you're Hispanic, and I go back, you have a sponsor and you're Hispanic, then they want to look at the numbers. I bet if you're not a Hispanic organization, you have a sponsor, and they will tell you how many people did you have, and we need the funds back, or what are you going to give me in return?
Mhm.
That I've seen. So you know what I'm saying, and that's where I go back. If it's not a Hispanic, if not a Hispanic organization, the sponsors and those big corporations are a little bit more lenient and give you more leeway in having less attendance or less participation. But you're Hispanic, then they're there on top of you, and that's
Mhm.
what I'm fighting for, because it always happens. And if we don't speak up as Hispanics, you know what? No one's going to do it. So we got to speak up and say the truth. And so we've been doing live, and then live, nobody can tell you anything. We're live, we're taking care of everybody. The attendance is there, the speakers, the panels, right? The panels have been
No,
fantastic.
they've been great. I mean, yeah, I mean, the speakers are top notch, top
With
notch. Yeah.
cryptocurrency, we've done the heart disease, which
Mhm.
we always do because that's so important. I mean, heart disease is the number one killer among men and women. People I know are thinking now about COVID and whatever, but heart disease is really,
Mhm.
really bad.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
those are all, I mean, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
definitely a great thing,
educational. And then you get
educational and good for the community as at large, right? It's not just about the businesses, it's about everybody.
that exactly taking care of the community, and
Right.
people don't know that. I didn't even know that before we started doing this. We do this series every year, so for the past 8 years I said, oh, I didn't know. I thought people died more of cancer, and they
Mm.
don't know. And that's the number one killer for men and women,
And women.
heart
Yep.
disease,
Yep.
both. And I learned. So you see, you learn. And so when you provide all these opportunities, learning opportunities for the members, it's value that you're bringing to them.
Definitely. A lot
Yeah,
of value,
what about,
Lily. And
yeah,
so,
fun. And
you've said a lot of great things here and a lot of words, a lot of things that I think are impactful to people. But I'm going to ask you this particular question is like, so what words of wisdom do you leave to others? Like if you want to, we have individuals watching today that are students, but also some people in the community, and they want to be successful. They want to be leaders. What words of wisdom would you give them today?
I always say that you got to be perseverant and don't take no for an answer. And if you have to circumvent the person that says no, you go around and you go to someone else who's at that same level or above that person, and you try to make it work. Let the people, whatever it is that you want to get something out of, rest like for some months, but then you have to eventually don't accept a no. No is not, that does not. I always tell people, don't say no. Say I will try, because there's people that you ask something and they say, no, I'm not gonna be able to. No, just tell me, I will try. I will try. And if not, if they get really not, that they don't want to do what you ask, the favor or whatever it is that you want, well, then you try to go around it. And if it's a big company, you will go around it. And the person that says no doesn't even know that the other person or that their company is a member and is participating or what have you. You always have people don't like to participate in there's people in companies that don't like to come to events
Right.
or any type of
Sure. They
program,
don't want to be in the public eye. Yeah. Yeah.
because you know why? Because it takes time for them to assign it to someone else. So it's easier to say to someone else, "You go," and I'm not going. But sometimes there's people that are lazy, that don't, they're a top position, and they don't even want to say to other people, coordinate and say, "You go because take advantage of this opportunity." So in
Right.
reality, for them, it's better to say no. So what happens with those people? You push them aside, and then you go around them. And in these big companies, you go to someone who wants to participate. That's what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
don't, no, I'm not taking the no. Okay, it's a no, but I'm going to go around you and do something else, because you know what? It's beneficial to your company and to your employees. So those that are saying no because they're lazy, because everybody should be participating in an organization, be it this one, be in the Greater Miami, the Coral Gable, Miami Lakes, whatever, Hialeah with my friend Mandy Yanis, what kind of organization participate. But it's important to be involved. And in this
Yes.
case, with the South Florida Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, of course.
Of
So
course.
everybody that's hearing us, never take no for an answer. If you're a student and you go to an interview, okay, but don't say, oh, no, no, no. You go to another interview, and always positive and follow up. The follow is when people fail.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely.
You got to,
That's the key right there is the
that's,
follow up. Yeah.
everybody, did you follow up? You have to follow up, because what you're going to think the people are thinking of you. No one's
Right.
thinking of you,
Right.
right? That's what
Right.
I say to the young people, students. No
You have
one's,
to put them you have to put yourself in their mind, right? You have to keep them on top of their mind. So make sure that they know that that's what
who's
you
the
want.
interested
That's
part,
what you want
right?
to do. That's what you want. And sometimes you're right. Sometimes even that opportunity may not come at that moment with that particular position,
Right.
but that person will remember you and say,
Right.
"Oh, remember that person? She or he was so perseverant. They,
Like
I'm going to
you,
call
right?
them, or I'm going to email them, call them, or whatever, and contact them So you're right. Very, very true. Very true. And
Yeah,
I've had opportunities in my own life that have happened
of course.
based on that. I didn't get what I wanted, but at that moment, right?
That moment.
But later on, you get it. So you just keep
Exactly.
going at it, and you'll get it.
But you have to be perseverant. You're the
Yeah.
interested party. When I want to bring a guest speaker, oh, I tell someone in my office, oh yes, I wrote. No, 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 no. I'm gonna write. I'm gonna call. I'm gonna continue until I get the yes, or they send someone else. But I'll probably get the one I want.
Yeah.
Because to do it,
Well, I
interested
think
party.
I think no is not in your vocabulary.
No,
Right?
take no for an answer. No, no, no. Exactly. Just have to persevere and make it happen, and that's it.
Definitely. Definitely great words to live by. I think it's a very simple but very important way to live your life. Just don't take no for an answer. I
And
think
young people, absolutely young people, because now you see them all the day on the phone. I even tell my daughter, no, 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 no. Did you do this? Did you do that? And she, she's so smart. She's scholarship, UM, whatever, presidential scholarship. But even if she's smart, you gotta remember, hands on. You're the interested party for this and that. You gotta take control. And for all young people too, because they're all on their phone. Oh no, but they didn't return my call. What do you mean they didn't return your call? Well, you call until you drive those people crazy, right? You call.
Just keep going at it.
Keep going at it. Don't say no. And if not that person, talk to someone else and try to get that job, and you'll get the job.
That's right.
Right.
Well, Lily, I really enjoyed our conversation, and I really love your message. Again, you are a dynamic leader. You're a person that's well respected in the community. You are continuing to do many things for us as a community to make sure that we're stronger, we're better, not just from a business standpoint, but from just, society in general. So I want to thank you for that. And thank you. And I know you're going to continue doing the work that you're doing and even bigger and better things. So again, thank you for joining me today on Qué Pasa Hialeah.
My honor. And I love the fact that you're the president of the Hialeah campus, because before you were there, I don't remember meeting anybody there.
Right. Well,
so glad that you're there.
It's been great and we'll continue obviously to build on the things that we've been doing. So thank you again for joining us. And I want to thank you all for joining us today on another episode of Qué Pasa Hialeah. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.